It was just another rainy night in the city, the kind where the streetlights blur into halos and the sound of raindrops on the windshield becomes a relentless drumbeat. Jake, an Uber driver, was finishing up his night shift, eager to get home to a warm bed. His app pinged, one last ride request. He glanced at the details, a short trip, a good tip, and a name he didn't recognize, Sam. Jake navigated through the dark, wet streets to the pickup spot, an alley behind an old warehouse. There, under a flickering street lamp, stood a figure. Not the usual silhouette of a waiting passenger, but something more ominous. "Sam!" Jake called out, squinting through the rain-streaked window. The figure approached, and Jake could now see the face, gaunt, eyes hollow, a smile that didn't reach the eyes. "That's me." The voice was raspy, unsettling. Jake, always polite, unlocked the doors. As the figure slid into the back seat, a chill ran down Jake's spine. The smell was off, like old blood and decay. "Where to?" Jake asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "The end of the line," came the eerie reply. Jake, thinking it was just an odd way of saying the destination, started the car. His navigation app buzzed, showing a route to a secluded part of the city he rarely ventured into. But money was money, and he needed it. As they drove, the passenger began to talk, but not in a normal way. It was more like whispering to himself, recounting tales of violence, of blood, and screams. Jake's heart raced. He wanted this ride over now. Suddenly, the passenger leaned forward, his breath hot on Jake's neck. "You know, Jake, you weren't supposed to pick me up. You picked the wrong one." Jake's eyes darted to the rearview mirror. The face was changing, skin peeling back to reveal something not human, eyes glowing with a malevolent light. Panic surged. Jake slammed on the brakes, the car skidding on the wet road. He fumbled with his seatbelt, his door, anything to get out. But the creature was quick, its fingers, now long and clawed, wrapped around Jake's throat from behind. "You'll take me where I want to go now," it hissed, its grip tightening, nails piercing skin. Blood trickled down Jake's neck, his vision blurring from lack of air. In desperation, Jake reached for anything, grabbing his phone, trying to dial for help. But the creature was faster, snapping the phone in two with a simple twist of its hand. "Now drive," it commanded, its voice now a chorus of the damned. Jake, half choking, complied, driving towards the darkest part of the city. Each turn took him further from help, from safety. The creature began to peel away more of its human guise, revealing a nightmare of bone and sinew, of darkness and decay. The car moved through abandoned streets until they reached what looked like an old, forgotten slaughterhouse. Here, the creature forced Jake out, dragging him into the darkness, where the echoes of screams past seemed to greet them. Inside, the smell of iron was overwhelming, blood, old and new. Jake was thrown onto a butcher's block, his struggles futile against the strength of his captor. The creature, no longer pretending to be human, began its work with a butcher's knife, carving into Jake's flesh with a surgeon's precision but a butcher's glee. Jake's screams joined the chorus of the damned, his life ending in a symphony of horror, his final sight the grotesque face of what was once his passenger, now his executioner. The next morning, Jake's car was found, abandoned, the interior stained with blood, but of Jake there was no sign, only stories whispered in the dark corners of the city about the Uber driver who picked up the wrong person.